Here we were gloating.
Welcome. What is going on? And welcome back to Sharing Our Stories. Hey, Mile High. My name is Slim with Nani Al Jaleel. And if you are just joining us for the first time, this program is all about addiction and recovery. We bring in a guest from whether it's right here in the Mile High or anywhere in the country who has struggled with addiction and is here to share in their story of recovery and where they are in their life thus far. So we want to thank you for joining us. If you would like to be a guest on this program, please send us a message. We would love to have you come in and share with us. So Nani.
Hello, Slim.
Man, I'm so excited that we are back here. It's been a minute since we were here.
Yeah, it has.
New equipment, so
yep.
I feel rather professional today.
We got a lot going on today. We have new
equipment,
new social media platforms that we're on.
In between us, we've got a new guest.
New guest.
So it's new
today. All the way around.
So this is really awesome. How have you been though?
I've been doing really well. Things as usual, right? Nothing to complain about. I always feel like I'm doing really well. I feel happy and blessed and grateful all the time.
When you complain, I tune out.
it doesn't even matter. Yeah. Moving on.
Oh yes. I'll give you a hug later. No, I'm really glad that things are going good. And our guest today is Mat Bolten, Mile High, who is from Boston, Massachusetts, or as he called it, he dropped the M from Massachusetts, and I'll let you just dwell on that. Mm-hmm. But he said that's where he's originally from. But we want to thank you for being here and coming in as our guest. You have avoided us for 2 years.
Yeah,
I know we have a mutual circle. And Matt, for the last 2 years, has been asked by people in our mutual circle to come on the program and share. So I want to thank you for finally being here.
No, he just offered me ice cream or something. I can't remember.
You offered him ice cream?
There was an offer. There was bribery involved. It wasn't booze.
Ice cream?
Yeah, there was a bribe.
I don't drink anymore, so.
Yeah.
I never get any of that. Well, Matt, we're going to turn this over to you in just a moment for you to share. And I want to thank you for being on our program.
Sure.
Mile High, we believe that there are so many different pathways to recovery. There's not just one way to do it. If there was one way to do it, we would all just follow that way and everybody would be sober. So, there's numerous, endless pathways to recovery. And each week we bring somebody in to share in what got them to their recovery. No two stories are exactly the same. And, you may find similarities with something you've been through or a family member's been through. And really what we want to do is whether it's uplift somebody who's maybe struggling, just questioning their relationship with drugs and alcohol and going, you know what, maybe this ain't the way I want to be. And they're struggling and they're trying to figure out how to get clean and sober. Or maybe you have a friend or a family member, somebody that you care about and you're watching and you don't understand what they're going through. We want you to maybe get a peek into what it's like in their life and maybe understand them a little bit more. Maybe find a way that you can reach out and help them, support them, love them. Because even when we're addicts, we still need love, and that love helps us to find our recovery. So we're going to turn this over to the one and only Mat Bolten in the building. Woo-hoo. I want to thank him so much for being here, and he is our guest for sharing our stories. Thank you so much, Matt.
Sure, glad to be here. I'm not even sure where to begin. Be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes in the beginning,
I was born.
Yeah.
I was an addict. Yeah, I don't know. For me, for recovery, it's just one day with the persuasion of a few friends, I got pissed. Mm-hmm. I just got pissed off. I got tired of it, and took a little bit of coercion from one of my dearest friends, one of my oldest friends. Kind of challenged me, and I kind of said, screw it, it's time. Christ, I don't really know how to segue through that.
You had people in your life who were around you who were saying you really need to think about getting clean and sober.
I had people that I used to get trashed with telling me I needed to think about getting clean. Yeah, I started, fairly like a lot of people, kind of just started happening in middle school, high school, dabbling in this, that, and the other thing. And discovered that I really liked the smell of cocaine at a fairly young age. And so kind of, that's a kind of a rich kid's drug. So I didn't get to partake in it very often. So I didn't get to dive completely down that rabbit hole, but it definitely segued. Let me back that up.
Okay.
Because all my friends were pot smokers, all of them. And it's after leaving Boston, we were in a little town called Steamboat Springs. A few of you have heard of it. And there ain't much to do. So, you get drunk, you get stoned, you get other extracurricular activities. I've been told to behave. And that's pretty much it. So, I mean, everybody started smoking weed. I gave it a shot a few times and just couldn't stand it. Didn't like the fogginess, didn't like feeling stupid. So when I heard that, marijuana was a gateway drug to everything else, I was like, well, BS. I just went straight for that stuff that smells good. And from there, started doing the weekend partying after school and, just all that stuff. College came around and I moved to Denver in the mid 90s. Discovered from my neighbor below me that the Coke is great, but the meth is better. Holy cow.
There's always that one friend who's willing to give that introduction,
God bless
right?
him too. And, yeah, so I discovered I liked that, which enabled me to stay up and do my homework for college. How well, I'm really not sure. But so that became a stint, and I kind of got out of it. I kind of realized fairly quickly that it was kind of messing me up, and as far as work and school and everything else, it was like, well, okay, this obviously ain't working. So I got out of it. By then I was a fairly good weekend warrior drinker. Was in my first rock band here in Denver. So did you know the musicians drink for free whether they want to or not? So,
entertainment field, though. I mean, it's just trouble.
It's awesome.
Awesome. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. A few radio personalities that I know too from those days. So kind of got out of that, kept the weekend warrior drinking, doing shows, not really remembering the shows after a while because just plowed. You're sitting there playing guitar on stage and people just come up and pull your hair back and pour Jaeger down your throat. It seems to be the drink of choice for musicians, whether they like it or not. Hate Jaeger. I drank a lot of it. So yeah, kind of went through that, finished school, made a bunch of friends in that scene. One of them I work side by side with, and that's actually the one who coerced me to get my act together several years later after his own adventure. So yeah, I ended up meeting my wife during that scene, and she was a bit of a meth user. By a bit, I mean a lot. And so I kind of fell back down that rabbit hole. The next few years with her was kind of the on again, off again. All of a sudden I was struggling holding down a job. Guitar Center was the only thing that would really have me at the time. And, living in a crappy studio apartment and working, getting high while working, not sleeping for days, all the glorious crap that comes with that. Ended up uprooting out of Denver after leaving my band, and went back to Steamboat for a little while. And I was working at a Grease Monkey, still getting wrecked. And I had a friend of mine that I grew up in high school with. His mom and dad came and visited me and offered me a job. And I think this was right around 2003, maybe 2004. And I really respected them, really liked them. Me and their son were great friends. And I kind of told him, I was like, let me think about that, as I'm covered in grease and oil and all this other crap. And I did. I went home and I kind of talked with my not yet wife. We waited. It took us 7 years to get married. It was just like, look, this job offered, what we're doing ain't working. You know, I myself think I've had enough. And she agreed. And so I took those 3 days to think about it, to get it out of my system, be able to pass a drug test. Was able to get because it was at an airport, so I was able to get my badge. My background check was fine, still is. I was one of those lucky ones that just never got caught with any of the BS I was doing.
Which kind of prolongs it sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole scared straight thing or any of that nonsense.
Or those moments earlier in life where you go, what am I doing?
No,
Like-
I definitely had a few moments where I should have been arrested and somehow got out of it. And yeah, the pucker factor wasn't enough, as anybody who knows and who's been in this world knows, that the relationship with whatever you're doing is far more strong than getting in trouble or anything or anyone for that matter. So I kind of was like, all right, that was my first time getting pissed. I was like, that's enough of this shit. Sorry. And so got clean, passed my drug test, worked for Jane for 4 years before I screwed up my back, throwing bags, and just couldn't do it anymore. And so by then I was drinking, but not heavily. I knew that I was drinking more than I should, but it wasn't a problem quite yet. I remember the moment it was.
And it always seems socially acceptable.
Yeah. And, working at a blue collar job, go to work, go home, knock back a few beers, watch TV.
And you're a rock
do
star.
whatever. I'm retired at this point.
Okay. Retired rock star. Uh-huh.
Washed up rock star now. So drank okay, but didn't drink a lot. My wife was very much the same way, still kind of weekend warrioring at the local watering hole, which at the airport was a little town called Hayden, which is one of those, if you blink, you miss it. So everybody knows everybody, and we don't have a town alcoholic. We take turns. So after I screwed my back up, my wife was working for my boss's husband at the time, and he offered me a gig out in Las Vegas, working for him in a white collar gig. And I don't know about white collar, still scummy as hell. It was timeshare sales.
We could do a whole episode on that.
I could kill the hour with stories on that right now. So we uprooted, we packed up, we moved to Vegas, and the first thing I saw when I was in the grocery store was a handle of Jack Daniels. I was like, you can buy this crap at a grocery store?
Oh, yeah.
Can't do that in Colorado. I mean, we had just gotten rid of 3-2 beer on the weekends or on Sundays. So, it was like, okay, cool. And then, of course, the Las Vegas lifestyle, so you're working sales during the day, you go out, you're partying at night, a lot of concerts, a lot of nightlife. And about a year into my stint in Vegas is when I realized, crap, think I have a drinking problem. But who cares?
You're in Vegas.
You're
I'm in
Vegas.
Vegas. Everybody has a drinking problem.
Right. It's hard to
There's not a
notice.
single timeshare salesman in the morning who's not like this, and then by lunch, they're fine. It's crazy.
Oh, wonder why.
I don't know how they did that.
Mhm.
Blame Ellis Island quite a bit because it was right next door. So I ended up staying in Vegas for 10 years. Worked timeshare for 9 out of those 10, got out of the scummy ass sales business and went into contracting and loan verification, got my notary and did that because I couldn't live with myself with the constant BS that I was feeding these people. So better yet, I can blow out deals for people that are feeding these people BS. And the place I worked for actually encouraged it. So it was a little bit more honest. So did that. And by then we were getting tired of Vegas. We were getting tired of, everybody sees the Strip. They see this glamorous, wonderful place, one block on either side of it. And it's just depressing. It's miserable. And it just kind of got to dragging and grinding on me and my wife. And so we decided to head back to Hayden. Got a place there, got back. By then our drinking was pretty professional. And
you're feeding each other.
Yeah, we're feeding each other quite a bit. And both of us still held down a job and, very functioning. I ended up working at a power plant out in Craig, Colorado during the days, and we did fine. And then there just came a point where my wife was just not functioning anymore. And she had her coffee cup in the morning and there was never coffee in it. And she was getting thinner. And I was still kind of, I didn't drink while I was at work. I never did. I always kept the wherewithal to, I'll catch up when I get home. That was my theory. And a few years into that, we ended up having to take Lori to the hospital for some abdominal pain. And next thing I know, she was on an airplane for Denver. And so they Flight for Life her because her liver was no longer processing crap, and they had to drain her abdomen of all these fluids and all this nasty crap, which was a very big wake-up call for me. I was just like, all right, this is crazy, and I most certainly can't drink in front of her, so after that, when we got her back home, I stopped, and if I did have one, I was that typical alcoholic where I would sneak off. There's a graveyard right by our house, so I'd sneak off over there, have a couple of shots, and then come home. Mm-hmm. So
really more hiding it now.
Yeah, but more often than not, I didn't. And kind of just to show her that
I support you.
We can not only do I support you, but see, it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much for her. Bottles hidden here, there, everywhere. Every time I came home, she was passed out on the couch, and she'd wake up and just do it again. The doctor told her, it was like, you keep doing what you're doing, within a year, you're going to be dead. And about 6 months after that, she started doing the marijuana gummies, something to kind of take away that craving. But little did I know, because she was damn good at hiding it. She was still getting smashed all the time. So she was starting to get yellow. And we decided to leave Hayden, come to Denver, where there was, the doctors are already here. And Flight for Life, so that's an expensive limo ride. Mm-hmm. So trust me. So we moved here, and she's pretty much jaundice. 3 days into moving into our apartment, she drops dead in front of me. Lucky girl, the heart attack took her before the liver failure did. So I call 911. They pick her up. We take her to the hospital. They're working on her for about an hour before I'm finally, talking to the doctor. And I'm like, even if she comes out of this, she's going to be effing brain dead, right? He's like, yeah, probably. I was like, all right, call it. So at 10:15, we called the time of death. I went outside, lit up a cigarette, howled at the moon like a fucking lunatic. Sorry. And yeah. And then from there, my stint of not drinking ended, and I was more than happy to join her. Mm-hmm. And so I spent the next 2 years still working, still holding down a job and playing catch up at the end of the day. Come the weekend, all my grand plans would be shot in the foot because I'd be down in a fifth of whatever, at 8 a.m. And by this point, I was not active. I was not doing anything. COVID happened. So, then I was drinking 24/7, became a 350-pound alcoholic stuck at home with COVID, who still went out every day to go to the liquor store because, hey, they got to keep those open. Mm-hmm. And ran into my friend, and I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, but I don't care. He can yell at me later, Danny. Mm. And I had a guitar that I was trying to get fixed up. So on the side, a hobby while COVID was going on is I was putting guitars back together. Kind of honing my skill in that. Now, mind you, through all of this, I need to back up a little bit because I kind of put it down. I stopped playing. And I mean, besides my wife, music was the only thing I had. And booze took that away from me. Took her away from me, took that away from me, took me away from me. Or who I thought was me. So I had this guitar that I was piecing together, and Dan reached out to me because I threw out on Facebook, anybody know how to wire one of these damn things up, because I can't solder for crap and my hands are like this all the time anyway. And so he reached out to me, and I met him over at a restaurant, and I hardly recognized him because last time I'd seen him, he was neck deep in his own addiction and looking pretty damn rough. And so I saw him, and he looked fantastic. And, here I am looking like, 500 pounds of hammered crap. And he gave me a hug, and I was shaking like a leaf. A, because I was nervous to see my friend who I knew was, sober and had his crap together. And B, because I was middle of the day and all I wanted to do was get a drink in me and calm this crap down. Mm-hmm. And so about another year went by, and he calls me. He's like, come down to Tribe. Now I've already reunited with him, reunited with Tomas, hung out a couple of the houses and kind of just got a very small glimpse as to what this world was like. And he was, so he calls me down. He's like, I'm buying lunch, come down. So I head down to our main office, and, we're sitting down having lunch. He's like, dude, I closed on a house. Hell yeah, right on, brother. Good for you. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of everything you've done. He's like, yeah, pack your crap. You're moving in. I'm like, no. Now, mind you, I stayed in this apartment.
The one
where my wife
yours
died.
and Lori's. Oh.
Staring at that floor in the living room for another 2 years after she died. Just the apartment complex offered to move me, and I was like, I already unpacked. I was already just that miserable. So, so Dan's like, yeah, pack your crap, you're moving. I kind of fought him a little bit. And we realized that he closed on the house the same day my lease was up, and it was just like, all right, fine, it's a sign, screw it. At this point, I was driving for the post office because clean record, not a clean liver, but clean record. And then Tomas came over after we moved into the house, and he was chatting with me, and he's like, what are you doing drinking and driving that piece of crap truck? Why don't you come work for me? I was like, well, there's that drinking part, that kind of, I understand you guys have a fairly stern drinking policy. I tried.
My understanding of this recovery home facility.
My plans at the moment. And so, again, I got challenged, and I got challenged by two people that I've known for 30 plus years. And Tomas, who definitely was around when I made some of my less than savory decisions. I'm pretty sure he instigated some of those. So about maybe 2 months later, after moving in with Dan, I got pissed. I was like, all right, screw it. So I started weaning myself off of it. I, like the classic alcoholic, kept it hidden in my room, but on my own accord, didn't talk about it. Didn't say, hey, I'm going to do this. Because whenever somebody's like, dude, I'm going to quit smoking tomorrow. I'm going to quit drinking tomorrow. I'm going to quit dosing tomorrow. BS. No, you're not. So I didn't say anything about it, and I just kind of started really way cutting it back and kind of making it to where when I did quit, I wasn't going to be detoxing like crazy. Pulled it off. Went to my first AA, because I'd been researching AA and NA and all the other stuff well before all of this, because I knew I had a freaking problem, but I just didn't give a crap enough to follow through with it. So after those two subtle little pushes.
Did you ever feel like you just accepted the problem?
Oh,
like you were just like, oh, this is just how it is.
I'm going to die this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at one point, like I knew I was an alcoholic. I tried to turn it into something cool. I tried to be like, I'm the best alcoholic.
Oh, hell. I gave no damns. I had no qualms with what I was, and I was more than ready to drink myself to death. Everything I had, I'd lost, and at that point, I didn't realize exactly to what extent and why. And I didn't care. You with an alcoholic background, there gets that point where you just don't give a damn about life. I mean, I'm not going to kill myself except for on the installment plan, but if a bus hits me tomorrow, cool, whatever. So yeah, I didn't glorify it. I drank alone. I drank by myself. I didn't go to the bars hardly ever. I just got my stock and went home. But so moving in with Dan, and, I wanted what I saw in my friend who was so far gone, I didn't think I'd see him alive again. I wanted that, and that kind of, and the other people that I met in Tribe, I was just like, Jesus, this is awesome. I got to get me some of that, and only one way to do it. So I walked into my first AA meeting. I walked into the Dragon's Den because that's the most popular one, and that's the one that blows up all over your phone when you look up AA.
Yeah.
But I walked in, and it was the 12 o'clock meeting, and I kind of stuck my head in the door and just kind of looked around, scared out of my damn mind like most of us are for the first time.
Say it loud.
Yep. I got to admit this crap. And so I walked in, and I just kind of looked at this older gentleman. I was like, am I in the right spot? Because there was only like maybe 12, 13 people. I was expecting a little bit more, a little less personal, be able to hide in the corner kind of deal. And he's like, well, that depends. Do you have a problem with drinking? And I said, absolutely not, sir. I'm damn good at it. He said, then you're in the right place. So I walked in, and I sat there with a handful of other of my kind and kind of just listened. I did announce myself as, my name is Matt, and I'm an alcoholic. And, but I just kind of sat back and listened. I just listened to war stories, and I heard myself. This guy's telling a story. I was like, yep, been there. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, been there. I've done that too. Did that one twice, And so I went home, and I got challenged again by who is now my sponsor. You come back, we'll get you a book. Like, not much of a reader, but okay, So I went home, got loaded, went back the next day, and told him, no, I drank last night. It's like, yeah, it happens.
Bro,
there was no judgment.
My first AA meeting, went to the liquor store right after it. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I think I made it maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, I didn't even make it that long. The person who brought me to the meeting, I don't even think I actually had the shakes. But I told her, I was like, don't you see my hand? I'm shaking. I can't make it any further. Stop me by the liquor store. I think once the bottles were in my hand, the shake stopped. It didn't.
As soon as you get to about here,
it stopped.
As soon as you got that length, and then I'm great.
But those first few meetings, I was drinking right after too, so I totally understand that.
Twice. I did it twice, and I didn't do it quite as much. But I was still kind of doing the weaning thing, but I wasn't mentally prepared yet. I was physically ready. I was ticked off enough to where I wanted to do this, but just the booze itself talking in my skull was, like, BS, man. You ain't doing this. You can't do this.
Yeah.
F
We're
you.
a team.
Yeah. You and me as pals, ain't we, Spike?
No, the booze was literally telling me, have you ever done your job sober? You can't do your job sober.
Oh God,
Just
the amount of times
all
I had
the
to think
things.
back. The first year, well, this is a first. So is this. My first sober this, my first sober that. Started counting that, and every once in a while, I still get one where it's like, wow, first time sober doing that. But so by my third time in, that was the lucky number. Got sober, stayed sober. Did a meeting a day for probably my first month. And then I dropped it down to one a week. And honestly, once the first 3 days were over, it was, I don't know how to say it was the easiest yet hardest thing I've ever done. But that's the only way I can explain it, is that after 3 days, it was wicked easy. But it was
3 days of just
abstinence, pure abstinence.
Okay.
The first 3 days, you don't sleep. I mean, I didn't sleep for like 6 months or more. Hell, I still don't sleep. But those first 3 days.
You sleep better though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. I still don't sleep.
I don't sleep in shifts where you go back to the freezer and guzzle some more to go back to sleep.
I used to have this thing when I slept drunk. I used to call it the figure four, where my legs had to do like this shape of the four in order for me to fall asleep. And if they weren't in the figure four, I wasn't falling asleep. And it was only when I was always drunk, but I couldn't sleep. And that's how I knew how wasted I was.
Yeah, the twister mat sleeping thing is, I still do that. I still have to be in that same position. I almost always still have to have something in my hand. That's the trip. Like, I mean, you asked Danny, there's not a moment that you won't see me with a diet soda or something in my hand. Something.
While you're sleeping?
No, not while I'm sleeping. That's the only time I don't. But,
okay.
If I'm up and around, I always bring my cup in or whatever.
True. Yeah.
So,
now that I think about it,
yeah,
you do always have something in your hand.
There's just that mental fixation of this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I get it.
But yeah, so that happened, and then I got offered the gig to work at Tribe under the Pretrial Peer Connect program and the RAD program. That's when Julia first met me for the first time. I think the poor girl was just told she was hiring me. Woe unto her. We're still friends. I don't know how.
Such a great lady.
She's all right. She's all right for a white girl. Inside joke. She'll get it.
She will.
But no, yeah. So, I mean, she and a handful of others at Tribe were kind of my major support structure through my first year. Yeah, it was a hell of a time. Getting to know yourself for the first time. Dealing with the emotions that you've been drowning for half your life. It's a hell of a ride. It's freaking worth it though. And being involved with recovery and, seeing people that were a hell of a lot lower than I was. I never really hit rock bottom. I just got tired of being close to it.
I mean, looking from the outside, I felt like you had to, you felt so much pain. You had to go through so much suffering. That to me is this,
It was interesting.
That's enough.
That's
enough. That's a rock
and
bottom.
grief is a certain
Yeah,
kind of rock bottom.
you
right?
know?
Yeah, I mean, mentally, I was definitely at the bottom. I was just emotionally, spiritually, and everything bankrupt, as they say. I mean, financially, I had enough put away to where I was fine through COVID because I wasn't working. I did not collect Medicaid. I did not, I just existed. And so, I've now spent 2 years with Tribe. My 2-year anniversary was fairly recent. We'll have to look at Gusto on that one, but it was fairly recent.
See what we can see.
Still here, still sharing whatever wealth of knowledge I have, which sometimes is not much, but freaking love what I do. I didn't figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, apparently, until I was around 46. And I have, that support structure that was Tribe, to kind of show me the way, eternally grateful to them because I'm still, she'll tell you, I'm a pain in her ass. she's my damn boss and I'm a pain in her ass. And I take great pride in that, by the way. I just want you to know.
Yeah,
but look, that smile on her face right now says that whatever pain in her ass that you are, she loves you though.
Well, we're pals.
So
we are definitely pals.
We are pals.
Loves you.
So
what's your recovery day?
July 9th.
Oh, you're July. That's right.
Yeah.
We share the same recovery month. That's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
Yep.
And how long is it?
2 years, 3 months, and I don't know. I can check my counter.
Yeah, that's so amazing. It's awesome.
Best and worst 2 years of my life. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a hell of a ride. I'm so grateful to, like I said, everybody that's held my hand through all of this and who's put up with my roller coaster of emotions that I am. Because I kept all that under a bottle. I'm not don't let the exterior fool you. This ain't me. At least not anymore. And, I love big. I love hard. I care. And I get happy. I'm wicked happy. When I get pissed, I'm wicked pissed.
It's passion, man.
Yeah.
Passion.
So
and that's exactly right.
There's no 5 on the volume knob. I'm 1 or 10.
All right.
And,
rock star, man. I told you. You never retire from that.
Yeah. The mass hole.
Turn it up to 11. All right.
So, yeah. And I'm looking forward to years more of this because, when I dove into this, not only did I dive into my own recovery, but I dove into the recovery world feet first. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go big or go home. And went big. And like I said, I can't thank the people that have been with me through all of it enough. I have no words to express the fact that, Danny, I always, tell him he saved my life. And he's always like, screw you. I didn't do anything. You did it. It's like, yeah, you gave me the tools. So, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all if I hadn't made that decision.
The people and the choices get put in front of you, and then you have to make the choice.
You have to take the
you
action.
have to do it.
Right.
But you get these things put in front of you, and then you have to choose.
Exactly. And that's why I always use the term get pissed, because that's kind of what it was for me. And it's funny because that's what I share with people that are wanting to get into recovery. They go like, God dang it, I want to get sober. I was like, are you pissed enough yet? Because that's what it takes. And screw everybody.
Yeah. Are you sick and tired of being
sick and tired? Sick and tired of yourself enough?
Yeah. And, oh, you're doing this for your wife? Wrong. You're doing this for your kids? Wrong. Try again. Oh, you're doing this for you? Good. Be selfish. Do it for you.
So when you look in the mirror now, it's been a little over 2 years. It's a different person. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you think when you look at yourself now? When you have those moments when you go, whoa, it's been a long journey.
Well, I'm half the man I was physically. I don't know. It's a roller coaster still to this day. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, I'm recovered.
No.
I get triggered just as much as the next person. It's just, that trigger only lasts a few seconds and it's fleeting. I still, whether you're in active addiction or you're sober, I mean, we still put our pants on one leg at a time. We still deal with our own crap. And, you know, I'm fairly hard on myself. I always have been. I'm my own worst enemy. So I don't pat myself on the back for it. I'll pat other people on the back for it, you know, especially the people that I've managed to get into Tribe that have succeeded and graduated and they're alumni now and all that, you know, freaking proud of you. I tell them that all the time.
The best feeling.
You know, those words echo in someone's ears. Me, I just another day, man. You know, you've made it, you know, 2 years, 3 months, and however many days, you know, time for another day. And that's just kind of, I just, you know, I'll take the bull by the horns each day. You know, I don't think too much about the future. Don't think too much about the past anymore. I just kind of focus on what I'm doing now.
You still going to meetings or?
I still go to meetings,
Mm-hmm.
not quite as often as I'd like to, but I still go. I still talk to my sponsor, you know, at least every day or 3.
Nice. And you're surrounded by recovery in your work.
And yeah, I mean, we're neck deep in it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with, you know, the job that I do, we get daily reminders of why we can never go back. You know, and this year has been wicked rough for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I was joking around with Danny. I was like, man, if there was a time we were going to relapse, this year was it. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's the pump up, you know, there's the pat on the back. You know, it's been a hell of a ride, you know, and I'm glad I'm on it.
Yeah. Recovery looks good on you, man.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So for somebody who came in here and said, you know what, I don't think I have a lot to share before we started, he said, you know, be quick.
Everybody in Tribe will tell you I'm a man of few words.
I ain't got too much to say. I think you had a lot to say, and I so appreciate you coming in here to share. What is your specific job with Tribe Recovery Homes right now?
I run our judicial programs down at the Denver jail.
Explain that for people who don't know what that means.
The long and the short of it is we station at the jails when people are getting released, whether it be pretrial or a regular release. We have Tribe people there to greet them at the door and start offering, you know, even if it's just a bus pass home, you know, a chance to kind of share a little bit in what we do, what we are, see if you want a piece of that, you know, see if, you know, you're liking this decision. My favorite one too is because, you know, most people are like, you know, you're asking them, it's like, so do you have any problems with drugs or alcohol? And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, so what got you in here? Mm-hmm. And just dead in the eye. You know, I'm not always nice. You know, oh, no drug or alcohol problem, but here you are with a DV case. What happened? You know, and so that being, you know, we'll kind of share that. And if you get somebody who's receptive, which, you know, you do, mm-hmm. It gives you a chance to kind of be like, dude, I was right where you were just a couple years ago. You know, I know what you're talking about. There are options. And here's what those options did for me. And we have some people that, you know, may not have gone into Tribe, but I still have people that come see me from over 2 years ago, you know, just to check in and be like, dude, I'm still sober. And you're just, you know, F yes. Yeah. You know, it's just awesome to see. I have one that I see probably once every week. He'll just kind of pop in out of nowhere like, hey, Matt, you know, such and such, a year and so many days. So it's like, hell yeah, man. Good for you.
I feel so good.
And so
my favorite people.
You know, we managed to figure out a way that we could reach these people and be that first door number 1 over to mm-hmm. Tribe itself.
When you're in a courtroom, to have somebody who's there when you exit there who wants to help you and assist you
difference.
when you're like probably mind blown as to what happens next. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the offers too. You know,
what a huge difference.
When we're talking to them, they got their next court date coming up. They got to be at probation tomorrow. You know, it's like, you want somebody in court with you.
Yeah.
You want one of us to be there with you, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a blessing.
We try to, you know, especially when you're coming out of jail, you just got your 5th DUI or you got your DV case, and, you know, you're just feeling way downtrodden. It's like, dude, there's options.
Yeah.
You can make this better. We can help.
Matt and his team do a lot of work. They have the navigators, everything from the release assistance on demand navigators that offer backpacks and resources, and to the pretrial navigators who are willing to go and support them with their court dates and when they get released from custody on pretrial services, to at the aid center, we have a navigator who is stationed, and they provide lots of resources and opportunities and referrals to other community partners, and then also to Tribe Recovery Services. So that the judicial department that Matt operates, they do a ton of work for Tribe and are just a great group of people who put in a lot of work and provide a lot of resources, not just for people who end up making it to Tribe, but for people who don't, and who just need opportunity and who need resources, because oftentimes it's kind of that, what are those basic needs and how do you get those needs met? And that's what those navigators are there to be able to help do.
Matt, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Your work. Mile High, you hear a lot about Tribe Recovery Homes during this program, and Tribe Recovery Homes is the sponsor of sharing our stories. There are many recovery homes. There's many places to help you get clean. It's not a one and done. This is where you have to go. If you want to reach out to Tribe Recovery Homes and we are not the place for you, we will absolutely find a place that will work with you and can help you, because there's a home for you. There is absolutely a home for you. So name some of the numerous recovery homes you know of.
Oh, so Aurora Sober Living, Transition Sober Living, Empowerment.
Shout out. Stout Street.
Yep. Pier 1, I guess it's now called, it's Reflections.
Step Denver. All right. So we're not, don't ever think like, oh, you guys just care about yourself. We care about recovery.
We care about, yes.
All right.
Yep.
Hazelbrook. Shout out to everybody at Advocates for Recovery. If you ever are just like, I'm completely lost of where to start, go to advocatesforrecovery.org. Amazing resource right there. Once again, this program is brought to you by Tribe Recovery Homes. Want to thank Tomas Hernandez for his sponsorship of this program. Thank you to Nani and everybody at Tribe Recovery Homes for coming together to help us do this each week. If you want to be a guest on this program, we are always looking for guests, whether you're in the Mile High or maybe you're out of state and you're like, I watched when you come here, because we want you to sit here. When you're here, you're a guest. All right. So send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are on all platforms. You can watch us on any of those. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell somebody about this program. If you missed it and want to watch it from the beginning, rewind it. Go back. Listen to what Matt has to say. And we want to thank you for coming here and taking some time, spending some time with us to hear about recovery. And yes, we do recover. All right. So celebrate that. Celebrate recovery. Thank you for being here. This is Sharing Our Stories, and we will see you again next week. Next week on this day, on Wednesday, will probably be a little bit later, probably about 6:30 on Wednesday of next week, but we will be back. And we look forward to being here with you for sharing our stories. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again.
Thanks, Matt. Woo!